Good evening. أهلا وسهلا يا أحلى جمهور. My name is Dajani. Welcome. I am a proud Palestinian performance poet, and I'm so excited to be sharing with you some of my original spoken word poetry this evening. The first piece that I will perform is called Love Letters from Palestine, and it's told from the perspective of a Hajj who was born on the day we commemorate as the Nakba, which is the 15th of May 1948, the day when the Zionist project of Israel displaced hundreds of thousands of Palestinians from our homeland. To do this piece, I get in character. Any fans of theater in the house? Right. They call me a Nakba, named for the catastrophe born on the same day as I welcome 75 years fighting the threat of genocide has left me unspooled like the thread I use to embroider pillows and thobes with passion and the hope that one day I will again feel at home on this land that my grandfather tilled with his hands under the umbrage of a gold leaf dome. And all I've inherited is internal displacement like my gut in my throat when I hear of olive trees, older than you and me by centuries, uprooted like so many families, relinquished to refugee camps where there is no defense. Though in the West Bank, we live restrained by a fence, thick enough to drown out the sounds of our sorrows and muffle the marching beat of endless feet, martyred in neat piles which the media sweeps so slyly under the rug of humanity. The insanity of your alleged birthright, Israelis minting fresh citizens, they import entitlement and market it as democracy. And though your apartheid apathy acknowledges 1 million of my friends as second-class citizens among you, millions still are caught in between, unaccounted for in your governmental scheme. And that doesn't include the millions still who can only dream of one day reclaiming their ancestry. Frozen in the struggle to remain Palestinian and present, to retain the essence of الزعتر والزيتون, اللوز والليمون. In the spirit of those lost, the Arab spring thaws, the sting of aching jaws, letting cries of freedom ring through bullet-battered walls. But the numbers dead here still spiral, like some stupefying defect. 1 missing, 2 lost, 3 buried, 5, 8, 11, 13. Welcome, we've grown accustomed to this pattern of killing, but when does the sequence end? Tell me, Israel, through which ethical lens does your ethnic cleansing make sense? The irony is a bit too much for me to tolerate while your IDF soldiers are toasting l'chaim. Palestinian children are dying. Our sons and daughters, prisoners of war, living on salt and water, and I don't mean tears alone. So tell me how, ya Dani Ayalon, can you deny that Palestine ever existed? How can you say with a straight face that before 48 there was nothing here but the potential for a Jewish state? Before you fed us your hate, welcome, we ate like kings in the Fertile Crescent, doctors, lawyers, and musicians. Our land was golden, the most bountiful and open. You've defiled our stunning cities and our pristine history. And yet, I will grant you amnesty. You orphan-making orphans, because you have never known the sanctuary of a home, and it's no wonder you want our land for your own. Our mountains and coastline, lush green and stones which still stand to rebel against your bombshells, are a sight to remind you that your might does not negate our right to life. And I must admit I was jealous when they sent love letters to Iran. It made me wonder, what did I ever do to treat you wrong? It made me wonder what possesses a throng of Americans to suit up and serve to protect another homeland which they don't deserve. With only weapons in the water, only bullets in the bread, I was knocked out from rage, stars of David round my head. Last time I yelled, hey, Ariel Pharaoh, will you let my people go? Because this land is holy and was so before your uranium blasts. And at the end of the day, we both share the same Semitic past. But in the 1950s, your discriminatory policies had to confiscate our land, classifying us as absentees. Though we never left sight of home, it was only out of reach as we stood helpless, caught in your checkpoints, present absentees, and watched as Jewish families commandeered Palestinian homes, with food still cooking, hot on the stove, beds made and bills paid, and pets waiting on the floor, sniffing out the stranger who just walked in the door. We never abandoned our Palestine. And now, as refugees, we carry her spirit internationally. And Israel, we refute your dumbing down of this occupation to call it a dispute, though it's not just a semantic issue. So I will continue to resist amidst your tanks and settlements, separating, segregating in your racist strategy. Walak Netanyahu, who chose you to inflict so much suffering unto me? Israel, I dream of peace, which is no substitute for justice. Israel with your barbed wire hugs, and Israel with your uranium love, and Israel with your bulletproof apathy, Israel with your affinity for make-believe. Israel, I am waiting for your liberating compassion, for you to discover your love of Palestinian Bedouins and Bashas, for this love cannot be contained, which is why love doesn't die when bodies don't remain, which is why love is all that's left, though my heart has hardened like the stone pit of an olive. Don't you see, Israel? The only way I know to give you my very best is to rip open my vest, reach into my chest, dislodge this now calcified organ, kiss my fist, and with a wish send it flying over the wall towards your settlements, which haven't settled anything at all, and hope you receive its good intent. You see, I don't resent you. We'd never move past this. If I did, my life is over. I just want a better future for my kids. This rock was never meant for anything more than to knock some sense into you. Why continue war? We are one human race. There are no walls from space. And if you could just see my face, the daughter of a catastrophe, perhaps it may inspire in you some humanity. Israel, all I do is give you time. But until you get in line, I will keep throwing these love letters from Palestine. Thank you. I wrote this poem 11 years ago. Hajja was 64 years old when I wrote this poem. She's 75 years old today. I did not anticipate that that would be so difficult, to age with her, to say the same plea year after year after year after year. Amir Hada, stand up if we are descendants of Palestinians, Palestinian refugees, if we are Palestinians in diaspora. I want to know how many people here have a Hajj or a Hajjah in their life who still holds on to memories of Palestine, who still tells them stories about Palestine. Let's see your hands. Yeah. Quick, turn around, look for a person with their hand and try and hear. I want to hear, just speak to your general group and let them know the name of your family member, if it's your tito or your jiddo or your khalto or your ammo. But just tell the people around you, let's bring their name into this room, yeah? Halima. Smallah. But just amongst each other, take a moment, 2 minutes. Palestinians, I want to hear you.
George. George.
Do we have to do this? It takes like 3 minutes of our time.
I think it's important to say their names. It's important to remember them. All right, more conversations to be continued this evening, inshallah. I have one more poem that I'd like to share today. And it's called If I Was President. Considering we have elections on the horizon, I thought this would be the appropriate thing to share, and hopefully it gives you a couple of giggles, because I know love letters can make people cry. Are we ready? Yes. Taxpayers, shareholders, and Instagrammers, lend me your fears. The evil that men do lives after them. Yet you seem disposed to brutish beasts, men who have lost their reason. Now, bear with me. If I was president, I would drown out the demands of the corporatocracy and focus on communities. My foreign policy would be to explode education opportunities onto third world countries and refugees. Healthcare and housing, why, they'd be free. Imagine what we could aspire to create if we didn't have to hustle to fulfill our basic needs. If I was president, my role as conflict mediator would include therapy and hugs. My constitution would be universal love. My border policy would be open door. I'd eliminate banks and in turn free the poor from the shackles of debt. I'd do some spring cleaning in the media outlets and TV stations so that only honest journalism and valuable information was broadcast to my nation. If I was president, I'd make my citizens pay taxes in the form of planting trees. Your tax return would be heirloom seeds. There'd be a national farming day off every week, and Monsanto could kiss my plush pink cheeks. If I was president. If I was president, classrooms would have no walls. Teachers would be paid more than guys who play ball, and education would be a community call. Because I know that it takes a village to raise a child. And so it would take the whole world to lift up one country. And when we got to where I think we could be, why, we'd elevate all the rest so that they can see what we see from such great heights as true liberty. I'm not talking about spreading democracy through war games, no. I'm talking about authentic development and fair trade, a free-flowing exchange of ideas, resources, and yes, humans. As your presidential candidate, I should tell you, I think restrictions on immigration are a bit stupid. Anyone who plants roots here will surely bloom, and, well, what a beautiful garden that would make for all of you. If I was president, I would hand out passports and postcards, encourage my citizens to travel to the far reaches of the earth, asking all who ventured out to share what they learned so that my nation could never become a xenophobic herd of ignorant, violent, belligerent, closed-minded, right-wing leeches who spew hate speech or on 45 stay gone. Stay gone. If I was president, I think it's clear what my stance on welfare would be, an absolute necessity to ensure that my citizens felt compelled to find work in an industry which speaks to their soul and heart. If I was president, Creating your perfect job would be an art that we all would enjoy, because I know that what you do with love will benefit every girl and boy in our nation and probably beyond. If I was president, if I was president, I would lead a global campaign to collect every weapon on Earth, march them straight up into a volcano, dump them in, and brace for planetary rebirth, because with no hateful metal between us, we'd have to dance out our differences. There'd be no more battling, just the rattling of bones to booming music till all collapse, sweaty, settled, unassuming, and laughing at all those moves they saw those dancing troops doing. Our bodies not so different after all. Free to be loved, decorated, celebrated, not ravaged by war. If I was president, I'd tell Big Pharma to stuff it with their pills, make sure BP, Shell, and the like never had another oil spill, and ensure that Mother Earth stops footing the bill for our compulsive consumption. Now, with this upcoming election on the horizon, I just wanted to make sure you understand the person I am, the principles I stand for, and the world I envision. But ultimately, my fellow Americans, it is your decision. Whether or not you elect a president who advocates division could lead you on a neo-inquisition. Oh, beware the hype of television. And stay true to your red, white, and blue values, because if I was president, that is what I'd do. Thank you very much, Palestine.